Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, I'm going to be doing a hypnosis session to help someone deal with a partner or perhaps an ex-partner or just someone in their life that has a combination of qualities that is known as the dark triad. So the dark triad, I'm just bringing up my notes here to make sure I cover all the key bits, is a combination of narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Now, any one of these isn't normally conducive to a good relationship. However, several of these, or all three of these, could be very damaging, and there would be clues if you are on the receiving end or know someone that has these qualities. So I'm going to go through what these qualities are, or the attributes of these three components, because forewarned is forearmed, and sometimes just knowing them gives you a sense of security, but also observation. You can know the game because you can see the game, if that makes sense. So narcissism involves a grandiose sense of self-importance, a preoccupation with one's own needs and desires, a lack of empathy for others, and a strong desire for admiration and attention. I think the word narcissist has been overly used, particularly over the last kind of decade, partly down to social media. It's very easy to see some of these qualities because you could say anyone on social media is an example, for example, of, let's say, a grandiose sense of self-importance or a desire for attention. But there's a big difference between a narcissist and someone that likes the validation of other people. But some of these qualities could be seen in a narcissist. Machiavellianism. So Machiavellianism comes from a book. It was a book that I read actually when I was about 20, 21 years old. The original name is called El Principe, The Prince, by, I think his name is Niccolo Machiavelli, an Italian kind of person in court that wrote the book about the power dynamics in ancient kind of Renaissance Italy, where you had the leading families of the different kind of feudal cities. But Machiavellianism is known for the deliberate, manipulative, or obsessively tactical approaches to get ahead. So that's Machiavellianism. So a huge focus on personal gain and strategic planning, and a disregard for moral principles. So this is someone that will get whatever they want, and it doesn't really matter who gets harms in the way. And then psychopathy. Psychopathy, again, a lack of empathy and remorse, very impulsive, deceitfulness, and a propensity for antisocial behavior. Psychopaths quite often display a charming or charismatic demeanor while being callous and lacking concern for other people. Now, you can imagine that if you were a friend or a partner of someone with just one of these qualities, then that lack of empathy and that kind of huge desire for kind of personal gain might be a problem. But if they had all three qualities, that's why it's called the dark triad, that would be something that you would need to be very wary of, very careful of. So this hypnosis session is actually designed to give a sense of boundaries and emotional resilience to protect, so that you can be yourself, but know how to kind of protect your own emotions. Some things that narcissists will do, for example, is gaslighting, getting people to question their own reality, and play the victim if they're caught out. So there's certain things that if you know these kind of attributes, it can help to defend them. Anyway, this is a hypnosis session for that kind of person. If you're dealing with, let's say, an emotionally abusive relationship, or you feel that you don't know how to cope emotionally in situations like that, there will be a link in the show notes that you can schedule a free consultation call with me. For now, though, well worth finding a comfortable place where you won't be disturbed to relax and to enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just get a sense that tension, stress, anxiety is leaving your body in your outward breath, enabling you to feel deeper and deeper relaxed. As you breathe in and breathe out, when it's safe to do so, allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, just allow yourself to fall deeper and deeper into a state of peace and relaxation. I want you to notice where in your body there's any feelings of tension or stress or anxiety. And as you breathe in and breathe out, just allow any tension, any stress to be released and to allow it to let go. Perhaps you can imagine a place where you felt safe and protected. Maybe it was a place in your childhood, a place that you feel in control of the space. And just use the power of your imagination to imagine being in that place, that safe, secure place. Notice the things around you that make you feel safe. And allow your breathing to slow down. And as you slow down that breathing, notice it's also deeper. So you're breathing in that slow, deep breath. And as you exhale, just allow any tension, any stress, any worries to leave your body in your outward breath. I want you to imagine wherever you are, there is a doorway that leads into a beautiful garden. I'm going to count down from 5 to 1, and I want you to imagine to open the door, to walk through the door, and to enter the garden. A garden full of flowers and plants and trees. 5, just putting your hand on the handle. 4, turning the handle. 3, opening the door. 2, walking through the door. 1, closing the door behind you. And then 0, find yourself in that peaceful, relaxing garden. It's a sunny day. It's warm but not too hot. Imagine wearing whatever clothing enables you to feel relaxed and comfortable in this garden. I want you to find somewhere in the garden where you can relax even deeper. Maybe a hammock, maybe a sun lounger or a comfortable chair. Continue to breathe in and breathe out, just enabling you to feel deeper and deeper relaxed. And open your mind to powerful suggestions suggestions that can increase feelings of emotional resilience and to help protect you from the intentions, the actions, or the words of anyone else. Breathe in and breathe out and open your mind to the idea that you are strong and resilient, capable of facing any challenges that come your way. But also to accept that you have the power to create healthy boundaries and protect your emotional well-being. Because after all, you are in control of your emotions, your reactions, making it possible for you to find inner peace and stability no matter what is happening outside of your reality. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine something that you think represents protection. You could imagine a force field of energy, a powerful bubble, or perhaps a suit of armor. Any of these symbols just represent something designed to keep you safe, to protect you from things in the outside world. So if it's a force field, imagine walking into the center of the force field and feeling that energy around you, protecting you from anything outside of the force field. And if it's a bubble, imagine walking into the bubble and then feeling that strong protective bubble to be around you. That you are safe and resourceful on the inside of the bubble, and anything else on the outside is just noise. And if you're imagining that suit of armor, imagine that it feels lighter than you would think, but strong and protective. Suits of armor were used in battles, so they were more agile and flexible than most people would imagine. And I want you to imagine that you can wear this suit of armor and still move around. Perhaps you can imagine that it's a secret suit of armor. You're wearing it, but nobody could see it. You just know that it's there. And whatever idea or symbol of protection, I want you to imagine strengthening it. If it's the force field, turn up the energy levels to make that force field even more powerful. If it's the bubble, imagine the bubble becoming thicker, and maybe you can hear less of what's outside of the bubble. And if it's the suit of armor, imagine picking up a strong shield. A shield that would protect you from any dangers on the outside. And inside your armor, your bubble, or your force field, is a feeling of wonderful resourcefulness. There is self-love, self-respect, emotional resilience, and inner belief. And I want you to accept the suggestion that this protective mechanism that you now have only allows good things in and keeps bad things out. So if nice words are given to you, they will be allowed in by your protective mechanism. If kind words or a respectful tone is said, that will pass through the barrier. But if deceitful words are said, abusive words, critical words, untrue things, or a desire to take your energy or your power away from you, your protective barrier will become even stronger. Imagine it's an intuitive barrier. So the force field becomes stronger, the bubble becomes thicker, or the suit of armor becomes impenetrable. I want you to imagine that in the past there has been a line, an emotional connection between you and perhaps the person that has exploited that connection. But I want you to imagine that a healthy connection is almost like a telephone line between two people. The communication is positive and two-way. But when dealing with someone that may have narcissistic tendencies, may not have that empathy, rather than being a two-way connection, I want you to imagine it looks like the tube from a blood transfusion, that they are taking your energy but not giving any energy. And I want you to imagine cutting that connection. And you might be open-minded to re-establishing a connection at some point in the future if it is genuinely two-way. But up until that point, while things are being taken from you, you have no interest in having that connection. And you can consider this an emotional connection. And I want you to physically imagine detaching that emotional connection so that you have the ability to observe their actions without becoming emotionally entangled. And as you detach emotionally from their manipulation, it comes with the knowledge that it reflects their own issues and in no way defines your worth, giving you the ability to remain centered and calm, unaffected by their attempts to control or manipulate. It feels liberating to cut that connection, to emotionally detach, giving you a sense that with your protective barrier and your emotional detachment, that you feel more self-empowerment than perhaps you have for a long time. I want you to imagine that your self-worth, self-love, that ability to respect and like yourself is just increasing, boosting wonderful sensations of increased self-esteem. Because you are deserving of love, respect, and kindness in your relationship. You recognize your own value, and you refuse to accept anything less than a healthy and supportive partnership. There is enough evidence already within your life that you have the inner strength to make decisions that honor your well-being and happiness. And sometimes you need to make the decision to walk away in order to keep yourself safe. But this is your life and your choices. And whatever choices you make, do it from the place that you deserve love and respect. In the same way that you would want honesty from someone else, be honest with yourself. Are your needs being met in this friendship, in this relationship, in this dynamic? Knowing what you now know, would you enter into this relationship? And with that brutal honesty, accept the idea that truth will set you free. I want you to imagine that inside this protective armor, force field, or bubble, the powerful resources are starting to heal. There is a healing light within this barrier, this protective environment, healing any emotional pains or scars, recharging feelings of self-worth, and restoring a reconnection with yourself to yourself. Give permission to release any pain, any trauma, allowing yourself to heal and move forward with love and compassion. Because you embrace your worthiness and accept that you deserve a healthy and fulfilling relationship. I want you to imagine a person that in the past or even currently has caused emotional harm. And I want you to see them there close by. But I want you to feel safe, confident, and protected in this bubble, force field, or armor. And I want you to hear them saying some of the things that in the past would have caused you to feel anxious or upset. But I want you to notice now that that detachment has occurred, that there isn't that same emotional dependency or connection. You're able to hear the words, and it almost feels like they're bouncing off your protective barrier. You can hear the words, you can see the person, but it doesn't have the same impact that it used to. And you realize that every day your emotional resilience grows stronger, enabling you to navigate challenges with grace and confidence. That you effortlessly maintain and reinforce your boundaries, creating a harmonious and respectful relationship dynamic. And if necessary, you've got the ability and capacity to attract supportive and loving relationships into your life, leaving behind any toxic or manipulative connections. Feel your self-esteem increasing, your emotional resilience getting stronger, that the things that would have caused harm in the past simply have no effect whatsoever. As you breathe in that resourceful feeling of relaxation, exhaling any remaining tension, feeling strong, worthy, and loved. And then still feeling that you can activate this protective barrier whenever you need it. Just imagine leaving the garden, going back in that safe, protective room, still feeling safe and protected. And then return to the present, listening to my voice. As you breathe in and breathe out, just get a sense that you are worthy and you are safe. And you have the power to make choices as to what you accept and what you don't accept. Because some people make the false conclusion that if they're experiencing abuse or pain or disrespect, then it's because they deserve it. And that is false. People will get what they tolerate, not what they deserve. And you deserve love and respect and transparent communication with no agenda. And as you acknowledge that you are worthy and you deserve good things, and you remind yourself that even strong emotions of the past are in the past, it gives you a sense of feeling that you are free. Free to establish a relationship on either new terms or a new relationship entirely. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Return to the present as you wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, completely integrating to you in the present but feeling like a shift has taken place, a connection with yourself, a wonderful feeling of self-esteem, confidence, and worthiness, as you now have the ability to defend yourself against the dark triad. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.